we got to dive into this Fanatics Nike MLB jersey fiasco.
More
okay?
of it. The saga
It is.
continues.
It's playing out like a J.K. Rowling novel, man. Like there's drama, there's finger pointing.
So much
Somebody's
finger pointing. We
waving
talked
their
about that
wand and trying to speak gibberish,
We talked about the finger pointing last week, but it's like
Yeah.
it's bananas that it continues. And go ahead and talk about the Fanatics CEO, because I had a little bit of hope there at first, right?
Yeah, I did too. So Michael Rubin, CEO of Fanatics, young guy, seems like a really
I was shocked.
I
Like
was
I would say
shocked.
shocked, but I was surprised that he was that young. I assumed he would be kind of a younger guy because of how long they've been around. But I
Yeah,
was
but
surprised that
not
he
that
looked.
young.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Which is good for him. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because Fanatics, just so you know, they began just like doing t-shirts and stuff, like and
Yeah.
posters. It
Mhm.
was nothing big and special. It was literally a fan-centric merch shop.
Well, I
And now
remember
they're
when it
designing
started, it
on the
was
field.
like, yeah, it was like you get like a basic T-shirt,
Yeah.
right? Then it was like somehow they were paying the bills with like licensing, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, now they're doing MLB shop, they're doing the NBA shop, they're doing the NFL
Yep.
shop. Oh, now they've got everybody. Now it's
Yep.
massive and it's Amazon for sports,
Right.
right?
But it
So
didn't start that way. And here we are now. They're making on the field jerseys for Major League Baseball. And I think what they say the NHL is coming as well. I think they're going to start doing
next
that as
year.
well.
Next year, I think, yeah.
Well, they better get their ducks in
Maybe.
a row before this happens because if baseball's any indication. Okay, but see, here we are already coming after Fanatics, okay? And this is part of the problem. So Michael Rubin, CEO of Fanatics, he makes his statement. And I'm going to summarize. I'm not going to read the whole
Well,
thing to you.
do you have the first one, the first part of this?
No, I don't. Go ahead and tell us.
I'm just gonna paraphrase roughly. Basically, he said we're getting the crap kicked out of us because of this whole
Yeah.
thing. And I was kind of like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, there's some self awareness here, maybe, and maybe
Yeah.
he's gonna be like, and we're gonna do better. But
Do,
Brig, what did he
do the
say instead?
Tylenol, right? Do the Tylenol thing. Remember Tylenol? You remember when they accidentally something happened, they were poisoning people on accident because somebody
Oh,
got
I
in
do
and messed
remember.
with the
Yeah,
Tylenol
because I was in the industry and had to pull it all off the shelf.
and they pulled everything. They went 100% retro active or whatever.
Well,
What's the
I mean
what do you call recall? They did a
that's
massive
called a
recall.
recall. So they had
Thanks,
to.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And it
that
was the
happens
right
all the time
thing,
in
and
the
they thought
pharmaceutical industry.
just drive their stock into the ground and that nobody would, but it ended up being this big trust thing, and now everybody loves Tylenol, right? Maybe more than they did before. So I'm agreeing with you, Brad, because what I thought would happen was an ownership move, like a
Mhm.
big fat, okay, we made a mistake, whatever, right? No. What ends up happening, he says, we quote, we've purely been doing exactly as we're told. End quote. So now the Fanatics guy is going, don't point at me. All I'm doing is what I'm told. Now, here's how it works because more details have come out. Part of it to alibi out this guy. He's like,
Mhm.
listen, Nike comes up with the design. Then Major League Baseball kind of sanctions it. They're like, yep, they sign off on it. They give it their blessing. Then it all goes to Fanatics, who says, okay, we're going to manufacture these things for you. We've got our facilities. We're going to manufacture it. And that's how the final product comes to be. So they're all wrong.
Yes. Yes. So
From start to
this is the
finish.
way that I see this, Brig. Have you ever like taught somebody to do something and then they do it the way that you show them, but there's like something about it that's wrong?
For sure.
And you say, "Did you think to ask?"
Right.
That's Fanatics
Right.
right there. They
Yeah.
were shown how to do this. They were given all the schematics, everything from Nike, and they're doing it exactly as they're told. But
Yep.
they didn't think to ask about like, well, now hold on, wait a minute.
Now, wait a minute.
What about this weird thing here?
Yeah. Like the
Because
names being the size of
the
ants.
names look weird. You can
Yeah.
see through these pants.
Yeah. There are three different colors of gray.
these gray tops don't match these gray bottoms. Something's not right here. Let's revisit this.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
No.
They should have had some quality control going on somewhere along the line and revisited this whole thing with Nike and Major League Baseball. And Major League Baseball doesn't get off scot-free because they signed off on it to begin with. Was it one of those things that just came across the desk? Yeah, whatever. Okay. Right? I doubt it.
I doubt
Somebody
it.
looked at this and said, yeah, this is great. This is going to look amazing on the field on TV. It's going to look fantastic. Can you see the player's name? No, but that's fine.
Yeah, who cares?
Right?
Let's move our logo down. See how we put ourselves front and center? That's the most important thing. We're the brand.
Exactly. And then
Dummies.
Nike, and then who at Nike ran through and tested all this stuff and was like, yeah, that's what we want to put our name on.
Yep.
Or was it we're Nike, we can't fail?
Well, hey now, there may be some of that going on. Here's what I'm saying though. So we've talked about it. Nike designs it. Major League Baseball says okay, and then we get to Fanatics who does it, right? Who builds it. And here we have the final product. Now, we've talked about the failings of the quality control and the common sense going on at Fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
But you're telling me in that chain of authority, in that design triangular sort of collaboration they got going on, that Fanatics didn't then send a proof copy to Major League Baseball and to Nike. Hey, is this what you wanted? Right? This is what you said, right?
Is this what this is supposed to look like?
Of course they did. Of course they did. You're not going to run thousands of these without a proof.
Yeah.
You're going to have a print proof. You're going to see one for each club. You're going to see it in home and away. If you're doing City Connect, you're going to see a proof of that. I guarantee you that the colors are all being proofed, the stitching, all of it. Everything's getting approved, and probably by the owners or some delegation of owners within Major League Baseball who says my franchise not wearing that or whatever.
Kansas City.
Exactly.
We need our names bigger.
That's the proof positive that this conversation is happening. So where in the chain did it break? And I'm saying all three places.
I think you're right. I think Nike I think there was a level of arrogance with Nike where they refused to believe that something they had developed was faulty.
Yeah.
Or wasn't ready to go. Because I wonder if they had been like, if like 3 years ago, they're like, we're going to have a sweet New Jersey material for you guys in 3 years. And is like coming up against a deadline. It's like, well, this is what we've got. This is what we got to go with. Ask for an extension.
Yeah.
Next time, ask for an extension. People are more likely to give them to you than not.
That's right. And
put that in your back
nobody
pocket.
cares. Right? Like the product we've been using is fine. It's just fine. Could it be better? Sure.
Absolutely.
But it's fine. Yeah. It works.
And it looks good. So
and it looks good.
So the NBA every year at the All-Star game showcases like new tech. A couple of years ago, they had this like fluid LED jersey that was pretty cool. You could like mess with the name and the number and the color, everything. Like it was really, really cool.
Huh.
Now, the NBA didn't say, we're rolling this out next year. These are going to be our jerseys next year. They said, this is something we're working on. TBD.
What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? Well, we don't have all the kinks ironed out on it, but we're working on it. We think it's pretty neat. We thought we'd show you. That should have been the approach last year during the All-Star game with these new Vapor jerseys was, hey, we have this idea for this new material. We're almost there. Maybe not quite because you can see through the pants, but like we're getting there. We're really close with it.
Here, so let's just break from this for a minute to talk about the NBA's approach. Why is Major League Baseball not doing something very similar? Because think of the level of trust, niche audience, what do you call that? Like, I don't know, scooping is not the right word, but like intrigue for your very, very niche group of people that are going to just salivate over new tech, right? You know, here's our new partners for baseball bats. This is why birch bats are starting to emerge. Here's what's going on in the ash forests with the Japanese beetles or whatever. There's all this stuff going on all the time where you think And it sounds like in the NBA they're doing this. They're being transparent and they're inviting their fan base into the behind the
So
scenes stuff.
I think there's a reason for this, and it goes back to actually a conversation you and I were having over Marco Polo last week.
Mm-hmm.
So the NBA, I feel like, is a very progressive fan base. Their 3-point shot, right?
Yep.
The transition from playing inside out to outside in now,
Yep.
with the weaponization of the 3-point shot. There are people who are like, basketball was better in the 80s. I want to see guys get beat up. It's like, no, it wasn't better. This is way more skilled basketball than it was. And that was brute ball.
Sure.
This is actual basketball.
Yeah.
The problem that baseball has, Brig, is that it lives so much in its past that people don't want to see that stuff. Because
Sure.
everybody's just go back to Majestic, stupid Nike swoosh. That's not the answer. That is not the answer. I promise you that is not the answer. To
Right.
go back to Majestic. There's a reason they went to Nike.
Right.
And I'm sure there's actually several of them. They should be swinging logs, not these newfangled technology bats. No, you'll get way better offensive output. These guys have technologically advanced bats that they have now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was one of the things that you mentioned, that Aaron
We
Judge is
talked.
swinging the most technologically advanced bat in the history of baseball right now. And that's
Yeah.
not the end of it.
No, it's going to
And I
continue.
think if they were to present this stuff, people would be like, Babe Ruth didn't need that kind of bat. But I'm sure
But he was
swung it.
swinging a tree trunk. So
He was swinging a log. I'm sure he would have if he had the option, though, because he hit more
right.
dingers.
Yep.
You tell me this bat will hit me 35. This one will hit me 33. I'm swinging bat A
For sure. And
every day.
it's a matter of two. Like
Probably.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If the distribution is more than one, they're going to take the new one.
Yeah, exactly. But I think
just
that the
did.
reason they don't do that is because baseball's fan base, generally speaking, not everybody, there's a large
Yeah.
portion of baseball's fan base that is so stuck in the days of yore with baseball that they don't want to hear about it. They don't care. They'd rather
Well,
have
and
a heavy cotton Majestic jersey than a new wave Nike Vapor jersey.
and listen, baseball family, before you start getting upset, I am with you. Okay. Between the two of us, I'm the
That's
least
wrong
progressive.
backdrop.
You got the wrong. You need to hoist the black flag, Brad.
Dude.
This is why we call him Blackjack Brad, because he does not mind being the villain. There's a certain segment of you listening and watching right now who are totally on Brad's side, and you're like, "Yep, move forward. Let's be progressive. If it's new, it's best," and that's fine. That's totally fine.
Barney Stinson said it, Brig.
What?
Barney Stinson said it. New is always better.
Yeah, he did say it. Then there's the group like me who's like, no, how do we mesh the old, the pure, the sort of like nostalgic and the reminiscent, right? How do we honor what has come before and fold in some really good ideas for the future? I don't want to move so far into progressive that we lose the past and we lose its resonance. I can't have that. That would just ruin it for me, honestly. So I feel like baseball is inherently inclusive, and this is something we talked about the other day. Baseball is inherently inclusive. When we talk about who's the greatest of all time, it's not a matter of who's the greatest now. It's who's also the greatest, right? Who's the greatest? We have to go all the way back.
It's a one
to
of
say
the greatest
it
conversation,
is a one
not
of.
the greatest, right?
That's right. Thank you, because that's what I said. Yeah, you got me. Thanks for getting my back. So I think okay, for me, when I go to the Louisville Slugger Bat Factory and I go back into the batting cages, you can swing the same turning model as some of these great players from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And you can feel what Ty Cobb's bat felt like. And it's truly incredible. Like, it really is super, super cool. And to try and swing that thing aaround feels like you're doing the hammer throw in the Olympics with a car on the end of it, right? It's crazy. And that pitch is not moving very fast. But it's just enough to make you feel like a dumb kid, right? but I love that. I love to be able to hold it in my hands or wrap my arms around it in some cases and try really hard to hit a baseball with something that Ty Cobb swung. That kind of thing, carrying that forward into the conversation and into the context of where we are now and where we're going to be in the future, that's where I'm at. That's so for me, it's both. We just have to find elegant ways for it to be both.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
And it's hard.
But I think that's why they don't do that presentation at the All-Star break, where it's like, oh, hey, they showed this to the players. We're not going to ask what you think about it, but the players seem to like it.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. And I think there is a large disparity between what the players want and value and think is
Oh, big
best
time.
for the
Big
game
time.
and the
Yeah,
fan base.
because the players are like, I want to be comfortable on the field.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be wearing a heavy jersey because that's not uncomfortable. Then I have to pull the back seam from my belt.
Yeah.
All the way up.
Yeah. Nailed it. Way to go, callback. That was awesome.
It's called comedy, Brig.